Benvenuti! Welcome to the next generation with me, your host, Giulia Stocchetti. Join me as I take you on a journey to discover young stars of the Italian food and wine world. Pronti? Andiamo! Hello, ciao a tutti, and welcome back to the next generation on Italian Wine Podcast. Today, I'm excited to have here with me Tamara. Tamara has been a sommelier with passion since 2015, and once she entered the fascinating world of wine, she's been digging deeper and deeper into it. So, while working in a wine shop in Yerevan, Armenia, her native country, she realized that people needed more confidence in approaching wine. So she felt the need to make the wine world more accessible to the average person. In 2017, she started holding some wine events called Wine Talks. And now she's based in Italy, Naples, organizing engaging wine tastings during which she talks about wine history, educating people also via trivia games, while enjoying a good glass of wine, of course. Ciao Tamara, welcome to the pod.
Ciao, Giulia. Thank you.
How are you today?
I'm great, thank you. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. So excited for our interview.
Me too.
Can you start by introducing yourself and telling us a bit about your background and how you got into the wine industry?
I'm Tamara. I fell in love with the wine industry about 8-9 years ago. And honestly, I like telling this story because I appeared in the wine world just because I wanted to try a new profession. I'm a linguist, and then I decided to start something new. So I appeared in a restaurant where they were actually teaching a little course of wine waiter, let's say sommeliers, a little course, and they were going to give you a job if you succeed. So I said, okay, let's try. And I took the course, but honestly, I wasn't very much familiar with wine at that point. I had drunk only whites, or maybe let's say whites and some reds, but they were sweet. So I hadn't had any experience. And then I took this little course and I succeeded. So from all the participants, it was me who started working there. This was the same year that I applied for a joint program with Armenian Agrarian University and German Geisenheim universities for enology and wine management program. And I also did this big step. This is how I entered the world of wine. I'm so thankful. We also had a chance to go to Germany to take part in Pro Wine and also some other European countries. This is how I, let's say, step by step entered into the world of wine and started really drinking and really understanding it.
So you're not just a som, but you also studied enology.
Yes.
Beautiful. So you're a winemaker. You know how to make wines.
I know how to make wines, but I'm yet scared to do it myself. It's my dream to make my own wine, and it's what I'm going for, yes.
Have you ever worked like in a winery during harvest, helping out making wines, or...
I did. During my program, I had the time in September, of course, for our, let's say, practical experience. And I did it in Artsakh in Armenia, which was really fun. But honestly, it was a short period of time. But yes, I can say that I know all the steps of winemaking and I've taken part in all of them.
That's beautiful. So what kind of wine would you like to make?
I'm dreaming of making red wine. One of my favorite grape varieties for now, let's say, is on my mind. There are always grapes that come to my mind and I fall in love with them. So I'm changing my idea all the time. But I'm now stuck on two main grapes. That's Sangiovese or Pinot Noir.
Oh, wow. So two interesting varieties. An Italian variety and an international variety. Quite different also from each other, but that's quite interesting. So hopefully one day you're going to make your red wine.
Yes, hopefully one day we'll be drinking it together.
Yeah, that will be awesome. What inspired you to start organizing wine tastings?
This was the period when I was already working in this restaurant and I was already tasting wines. And Sangiovese actually was the first grape variety I tasted, and I realized I like it. One of the first steps, let's say, that moved me towards wine tastings is just a customer. I remember she came and she said, my husband doesn't like white wines and I want to buy something for him, maybe something different. Maybe let's stick to reds. And I said, wait, I asked her questions about why he doesn't like. And she said that he has tried a white Sauvignon Blanc, and he didn't very much like it at that point, and he realized he doesn't like white wine. This is the point when I realized that this man must come here and he has to taste new white wines, different grape varieties, because as we know, Sauvignon Blanc is a very peculiar and nice grape variety, but depending on its peculiarities, someone may like it or someone may not. So I asked her to bring her husband that evening, and he came and we tasted another white grape variety. Of course, wine made from another grape variety. And he said, no, I really love white wine. I think one of the points was this, as well as different other wine tastings I participated in European countries, 2 of them. And I realized that I was looking for something friendlier than it was. It was really professional, fantastic, amazing, but I was still feeling I may say something wrong. Or, for example, the sommelier was saying you should find this exact aroma, and I was not finding it in the wine. So I thought maybe I'm wrong. My nose is not working. So these 2 things that happened at the same period of time, I realized that maybe I can hold a friendlier wine tasting exactly for that couple, for example, who realized that Sauvignon Blanc might be the reason he decided he doesn't like white wine, so that they get more confident, and even without me entering the restaurant and I'm not there, they can pick another wine and enjoy it, because wine is all about enjoying. It's not a difficult topic to talk about.
Yeah, exactly. You're right. A more friendly environment can help. The point is, you don't have to taste something because what you feel in the glass, it's what you've experienced. Because if you don't know certain kind of flowers or certain kind of fruits, you won't recognize it in the wine. So it's a lot more about what you feel, what your nose feels, your mouth feels, right? It's not something standard because every one of us has its own background. So the next question comes natural to me. Why do you think it's important to make the world of wine more accessible to the average person?
Coming from the point that wine has been drunk for centuries, of course, it has been a part of, royal families' routines. They would drink the wine. Also, the movies make us feel like we have to wear a suit or a nice dress when we're drinking wine. Yes, this is, again, wine makes a part of this, let's say, huge standards, high standards. But at the same time, for centuries, people have been making wine. And I think personally, it's not that fair that people can feel that they are not able to talk about it because it may seem something of a higher standard, or maybe kings would drink it. Yes, kings would drink it. Also in Armenia, we have several facts showing how kings would gift each other wine, etc. But wine has always been part of everyday routine, everyday life of many countries. So I think if you like the taste of the wine, of course, it's not compulsory that everyone has to know it. But if you like it, you have to feel comfortable of trying to find the aromas, trying to express yourself. If you feel the aroma of banana, no problem, just say it. Maybe 5 other people are not feeling it, but one of them agrees with you that there is a tropical aroma in that exact white wine. And I remember myself that I was feeling some exact aromas of, I think it was exactly banana. And I was thinking, no, it's not possible. At the beginning of my career, can I ever feel an aroma of a tropical fruit from a grape? But then, the sommelier himself said tropical aromas. And I was ashamed at that point that I knew it and I didn't say it. So I think wine must be accessible for every single person.
That's amazing. That's beautiful, really. What do you think are some of the biggest barriers that prevent people from feeling comfortable talking about wine?
I think one of the biggest barriers is the images in the movies, as I mentioned, that you have to be a very rich person wearing a suit and swirling the glass of wine, that many people think that they might not correspond to these, let's say, quotation marks, standards. Also, the price might seem a little bit of a barrier for people because, they can find other drinks costing much less. And then they might see a bottle of wine, Chateau Margaux, and it costs a lot. And they might think that, this is something to drink. This world of wine is for people who are rich. or who have a lot of money, but it's not like that. Another barrier can be, I think, the fear of being judged when you don't know what the word tannin is, and then people are speaking about tannins and you are afraid to ask because you might think that they would say, why don't you know what tannin is? So the little fear of being discussed, being judged, feeling, I think, of being wrong about the temperature of wine. So I think this whole world of wine needs to become friendlier just for the people to know that they are not judged, they are not wrong, and the glasses are helping you to get better understanding and expression of the wine itself, not because it's another world and you are not in this world.
Basically, if you have the passion, if you have the curiosity, I guess everyone is welcome in the wine world, as long as they are humble enough to realize first that they don't know anything and they have everything to learn. And then I guess it's going to be more accessible, also thanks to people like you who spend their life organizing tasting to educate people and to make them feel more comfortable with a glass of wine in their hands.
Yes, exactly. And honestly, I'd like to add also to the accessibility part that even a dinner, a nice date, a beautiful evening may be changed. Mood might be changed because of a bad selection of a wine. Because everything is connected. If you didn't like the pairing of the wine and the food, something might go wrong.
Who wants to be the next Italian wine ambassador? Join an exclusive network of 400 Italian wine ambassadors across 48 countries. Vinitaly International Academy is coming to Chicago on October 19th to 21st, and to Almaty, Kazakhstan from November 16th to 18th. Don't miss out. Register now at vinitaly.com.
I'm so curious about your events. Can you walk us through what a typical wine tasting event looks like when you're hosting it?
Of course. Usually for now, I am holding the wine tastings in the city center.
In the city center of Naples, right?
Of Naples for now, yes. I've done wine tastings also in the city centers of Yerevan and Rome when I was staying there. Now I am currently in Naples city center, surrounded by, this beautiful architecture, some nice wine bars that I have selected myself. I take people there. Usually I'm taking smaller groups of people to these bars. And if we are a bigger group, we usually go to a nice terrace looking at the sea and Vesuvio.
Stunning.
It depends on the number of people. And we are tasting 2 to 3 wines made from local Italian grape varieties. I'm trying to choose the ones especially from the region where I am in this case in Campania region. And I'm showing the expression of the true flagship grape varieties of the region. And during the wine tasting, I'm using, honestly, some semi-professional wine tasting sheets. The ones that I studied with in Geisenheim University was something in the middle of WSET and a friendlier approach. It was a kind of edited version of WSET tasting sheets. And I made it even more friendly. And we are doing the wine tasting. I'm showing people how they should taste the wine, but I'm always beginning with some tricky questions about wine to make them understand that they know a lot and that they shouldn't get ashamed and embarrassed.
What could be a tricky question? Just give us an example.
I'm starting my wine tastings usually like, what's the best wine in the world for you?
Oh, that's tough.
And then I'm like, okay, I don't want to say the answer, what I usually say, because if someone comes, then they'll already know.
Okay, so we don't want to spoil it. So keep yourself. If you want to know the answer, Tamara's answer, you must attend one of her tastings in Naples.
Yes, you are always welcome.
Thank you.
And we taste the first wine, but then we start the trivia games. So in order to make the wine tasting less serious, something like an educational program, I make it an edutainment program, and I start the trivia games right after the first wine. We have the games according to their colors. So first is the pink game, which is about myths and truths. And then we go on with the second wine tasting, and we do the second evaluation with the second evaluation sheets, and then we discuss the whole history of Italian winemaking. Oh, I forgot to mention the most important thing. We pair the wines with local bruschetta.
Delicious.
I usually ask the chef to always put some extra mozzarella di bufala. We always put some special salami and cheese, different kinds of cheese, so that people try to pair their wine. And especially during the pairings, I'm letting them know that they can be very free. They don't have to pair the mozzarella only with the white. They may try it with the red and see if they like it.
It sounds so much fun, like a glass of wine, kind of trivia game, some delicious food to pair with. I mean, that's awesome.
Yeah, I really enjoy with them every time equally because with every person I have a special experience. And I forgot to mention they have to be competitive with these trivia games because even if they are husband and a wife or sister or brother, they have to be against each other and they have to play this game against each other. And I'm writing down the points. I have a whole book about names like Charlie, Linda.
Usually there are more local people taking part in the tastings or more tourists? Who's your customer base?
Honestly, 95% of the customers are tourists from different countries. And I have had also Italians living in other regions, usually northern part of Italy. Sometimes I had this fear, oh my God, I'm Armenian. Maybe they know something, maybe they correct me because I'm not local. But no, they usually say, oh, we didn't know this. It's nice. It's fun. And I love this, my connection that northern Italian people might really like the event and say thank you to me. It's really fun.
So can you please tell us how can we take part in your events?
The dates are bookable on several platforms, starting from my Instagram platform. I have put a link right under my bio so that they can see and click and choose. And also on Get Your Guide, on TripAdvisor.
And what's your handle on Instagram, just so that people can find you?
Wine tasting in Napoli.
Talking about feeling comfortable with a glass of wine. What tips do you have for someone who feels intimidated about sharing their opinion on wine?
I would suggest anytime you go to a restaurant, talk to the sommelier. Say honestly what kind of aromas you like, and the right sommelier will ask you the right questions. And every time you order the wine, you taste it, you may ask the waiter or waitress to approach you, maybe with a glass, and say, let's try it together. What do you think? Talk to the people who are from the sphere. This is what I used to see because I've worked at a wine bar and people would say, take a glass and come here. And I would go and they would say, oh, what do you think about this? After our conversation, I was sure this person had become more confident in this. Also, I'd suggest reading, let's say, easygoing wine books if you want to start just like I remember my first book was Wine for Dummies or Wine Information for Dummies, something like this. Watch movies which not only show just the wine tasting itself, but may show you the procedure of how the wine can be made. Like the movie A Good Year, I'm sure some wine lovers might have heard about it. I think these are the main tips. Also, consider that many sommeliers who are world renowned now have had another profession and they have also at some point of their lives started like us, like anyone else who thinks they don't know anything, but it's not that much true. So just be confident and try and smell all the time the wines. I would also suggest having a little notebook and writing what you feel every time you like the wine and also what you don't like in any kind of a wine if you tasted it, and you can mention, oh, this one was too acidic or this one was too tannic. Just mention for yourself, and this little notebook may help you in the future for both being more confident about choosing the wine and also for yourself.
Do you also keep track of your tastings in a notebook? You have your own notebook?
Yes, because I taste many wines and I need to write down.
Nice. So I guess year after year, you're going to have like a pile of notebooks with all the tasting notes, like the tasting history, Tamara's tasting history.
Yes, I think I have already a pile of it.
So you've been in the industry for like 9 years now, right?
Yes.
And have you noticed any changes or trends in how people approach wine tasting and appreciation over the past years?
Definitely, I am feeling that people already know more or less what they like, because the same wine, tricky question that I said I'm asking people, what's the best wine for you? I used to ask in Armenia years ago, and people might be really embarrassed and they would say, well, I don't know, it depends. But now people are naming wines, which is quite nice. They would say, oh, recently I've been to this wine festival and I tasted an Armenian orange wine, or I don't know, an Italian Sangiovese, 100% from Tuscany, etc. So people start writing down some things or mentioning some terms. This is quite nice. I think it's because of the social media and also people getting really interested in the wine. I'd say the trend is that people are more knowledgeable about the techniques of winemaking and the names. It's really nice. And I think what younger generations are trying more new wines. I really like it.
Why do you think like the young generation is more interested in wines nowadays than before?
I think it's again coming back to the point that people realize that wine has always been there, that it's not anymore, or has never actually been, but not anymore considered a very high standard drink. Especially after, if I'm not mistaken, in Australia, they made the canned wine, which makes the wine more accessible and closer to people. That's why I think they are not anymore ashamed not to know special terms in the world of wine. And it's also become a part of everyday evenings. Also in Italy, I've noticed that recently I was invited to a nice party and there was a lot of wine served. And the girl who was organizing this said, this is Prosecco from this exact vineyard. So she was really knowledgeable about this, but her profession was not about wine.
So you see a growing interest in wines among the young generation.
Yes. Hopefully the limited consumption, because I always say to my wine tasting participants that wine is fantastic, but in limited consumption, and everyone should look after how much they are drinking. But I feel that yes, there is a nice interest in drinking and understanding wine, not getting drunk with wine, but understanding and evaluating it. And I think wine is becoming, and has always, I think, been a drink for solving arguments, having nice, beautiful talks, discussing philosophy. It's never been a drink to get drunk and forget about your day. And I think it's the beauty of wine.
Yeah, opening a bottle of wine means like opening the door to a bunch of emotions and new experiences. So every bottle of wine is unique. Every time we open a bottle of wine, we create a unique moment that we will always remember. But I'm happy to hear that more and more young people are interested in wines and they're conscious about what they're actually drinking. So it's really important for the future of the industry.
Yes, me too. Especially when people are trying to pair the right wine with the right food. I don't remember that like my parents or grandparents did this. It's interesting and I really love it how someone can text me on Instagram and say, you know, it's our anniversary. I want to do this fantastic evening. And my husband likes, for example, Chateauneuf du Pape or some Cabernets. What do you think I should pair it with? And this is amazing how people are going really deep into making their evenings perfect with a perfect pairing.
Okay, now I got a sneaky question for you. If you have to choose, would you go for Armenian wine or Italian wine?
Oh my God, it's so difficult to answer. It's like I'm asking, do you like your mom more or your father? But honestly, I think all of the grape varieties are kind of connected with each other. I'm really sure that somehow the merchants centuries ago could take some grapevines to get with them and come from Mesopotamia region to the European different countries. I'm sure that somehow Sangiovese might be a father or great-grandfather of some grape variety in Armenia. I'm really sure about it.
Oh my God, we should ask Professor Scienza. You should write your question for Professor Scienza.
Definitely. If we ever meet, and I hope we will, Giulia, I introduce you to an Armenian grape variety called Areni, which I think has some connections with either, let's say, a very light Sangiovese or Pinot Noir.
That's fantastic. I can't wait to try it. And especially, I can't wait to meet you in person and share a glass of wine with you.
Me too.
All right. So, is there anything else you'd like to add?
I'd like to say that we should drink wine. We should know the wine. We should know the diversity of the wine, and it should be open to every single person. I'm so curious about tasting wines from every single country that is making it. The world of wine is really huge. So I'd say that every single person who's going to any country, try their own wine because it's a local specialty. And terroir, the sun they have and the techniques they are making the wine with is something like their cuisine. I wouldn't differentiate like specialties in the sense of food with the wine. If you like pizza, if you like Armenian special tolma, you try their own grape varieties and pair the pizza margherita with a special wine from that same region and taste it. It's amazing.
Fabulous. Thank you so much, Tamara. It was a huge pleasure talking to you, and I wish you all the best and good luck on keeping on educating people and letting people feel comfortable with wine.
Thank you, Giulia. It was amazing talking to you. Thanks so much. I hope to meet you soon.
Me too. It was so inspiring. It was fabulous talking to you, Tamara. Thank you so much, and thank you to all the listeners. I'll see you next Sunday for a new episode on the Italian Wine Podcast with the Next Generation. Ciao ciao! Grazie for being with me today and listening to the Next Generation on the Italian Wine Podcast. Alla prossima! Cin cin!